Assalamualaikum, hello everyone, and welcome to another karting video. This time we're at Buckmore Park for Club 73. So this is a new championship that I decided to join. Pretty cool. They go all around east of England essentially, and yeah, you hire out the rental carts there, or Club 73 hires it out, and then you have a championship. So this was our race. It's essentially reverse grid, and because it's our first race in the championship, we are starting right towards the back of the field in P23 out of 24. So we get an okay start. Apologies for the camera being a little bit shaky, because usually the footage is less like this in Club 100. But either way, heading down into turn 3, the hairpin, we get it sent up the inside. A couple of people running wide on corner 8, so we're back on the outside now into a hairpin to turn 4. And we just hang it all the way around the outside of everyone. A pretty good run, and we're already up into like P15 or something. We're side by side heading into one of the best corners on the circuit. This right, left, and then, well, there's a bit of room for us on the inside, so we send it back on the power, and away we go. It's been a while since I was last at Buckmore, so I did have to get used to the track, and 5 minutes of practice at the start isn't really the most. But we get a good run coming up the hill, and I decide to push number 7 along to get a good run, but we still got someone up our inside, I think, as we head into this right hand, and there they go, number 13 up the inside, and we follow them through. And now have a look up the inside. We go into this corner all the way up on the curb. We make some contact. I was very late on the brakes, and the brakes on these carts were atrociously bad. So yeah, we end up getting squeezed wide, but I'd say, you know, I'm going to hold it all the way around the outside, and with that, we gain another position. So we continue to work our way up through the field, and honestly, it was a really good start. I'm probably in about P14, P13 at this point. So yeah, a very good start in the corporate carts, and a good run coming out of this corner. A lot of people taking too early of an apex, and it costing them. So we're on the outside as we head into this left-hander. Some people having some really bad runs. So that guy, number 2, would have started this race in second place. We go up the inside, gain a position into the double right-hander, and Mr. Elf, I'll call him because he's got Elf written on the back of his suit. We get a bit of a push into the hairpin, and this guy ends up gaining a position on me. I think this guy went on to win the race, number 22. It was either him or number 20, I can't remember which, but I'd say fair enough, you got past me, bit of a shove, but I'll just push you along through here because I'm not going to overtake you into the S's, and maybe I can have a send on you into this corner. I decide against it, but he ends up messing up, so I get a really good run. I move up, I have a think about going up the inside. You can kind of see my car like looking right, looking left. I can't get anything happening, and this guy ends up lifting off to let this guy back through, I think, after they have a bit of a coming together. So we end up getting the position, we move up another position, and now we're going to go up the inside of the double right-hander. End up going a bit wide, so that was a bit daft. So I think that guy might be on my inside. But in fact, this is the time where Mr. Elf guy decides to ram into the back of me, or into the side of me and spin me around. So with that, I drop from about 13th all the way to last. So I'm in 24th now. And it was really annoying because I lost about 7 seconds with that one incident. But the worst part is I've now got to gain all of those places again, which is just me losing time. So I was very annoyed at the time. Apparently that guy got a black flag, I don't know, but yeah, it was annoying because I wanted to win my first Club 73 race, and with that it made it practically impossible. But I decided that I'll get my head down and, you know, just try my best at that point and see what I can do. So we go up the inside into the double right-hander. Someone loses the rear, so we go all the way up on the curb. We go right up onto the red stuff, the final part of the curb, and we gain another 2 places. So really good start to, I guess you could call this the second part of my race. And yeah, at this point I was like red eyes, hot under the helmet, just absolutely mad. And I just said to myself, right, that's it, we go. We just push. Not that you don't push anyway, but I just said everyone I come up to, I am sending them instantly. I'm not taking any prisoners. I'm not going to wait. I'm not going to dilly-dally around. I'm just like 110% commitment every single lap. Whereas before, it's like, it's a long race. You've got 30 minutes. You've got time to like try to work your way up the field. So yeah, that was originally the plan, you know, take it chill, and we had a decent start. We gained quite a few places, but now I'm just looking to be a little bit more aggressive, and you can see how much we catch up to number 24 through the hairpin, and I find a bit of space, so up the inside I go through the double left-hander. I think he should get a better run than me on the outside. Does he try to hold it? I leave space, so I'm guessing his car is still there, and I decide, you know what, we're going to hold it all the way around the outside of that, and then he ends up hitting the guy who spun in front of him because, well, I think he was probably looking at my car instead of in front of him. So, yeah, sadly for him, I don't really think he had many places to go, in fairness to whoever was in that number 24 car, but we gained 2 places, so we can continue working our way up through the order as we head into turn 1 once again. So, yeah, for those people who don't know about Club 73, they are half-an-hour races, and then there are like 3 different races, so you get ordered according to your abilities. Because this was my first race, I got put in the B class, but to be honest, like A, B, and C lap times were all relatively similar. The B was a bit slow because it was the last race of the day, and it was a bit dark. Now, you might have seen that things jumped forward a bit. That's because I can't find the second part of this video, because when you take a recording on the GoPro, it sections it into like 8-minute clips, and the second clip is missing. So this is 8 minutes into the future when I've got through the majority of the field, and now I'm trying to work my way up to catch up to any more unsuspecting victims. So I'm probably sitting in, I want to say like P10 or something right now, and this effectively became my opportunity to learn the track, to continue to improve. So I might as well use the next couple of laps just to talk about the Buckmore Park circuit and give any tips and advice for anyone who might have a race at Buckmore Park coming up, whether that be in Club 100 or in the Buckmore corporate carts, which is what I'm driving. So let's talk through this lap then. I don't know if this is going to be a good lap, we'll find out. So turn 1, again, use all of the track. Now you want to sacrifice your entry into the first part so that you can get the apex through turn 2, which I do. You don't have to hit the apex through turn 1. Very late braking into this corner, you kind of clip the apex back on the power. I didn't use as much track as I should have. This double left-hander, nice and easy on your turning, because you don't want an early apex, you want to get a late apex so you can get a good drive. This left-right completely flat, and then I like to use all of the red track on the entry, flat through the right, and then dab on the brakes, just get it tight, nice and tight through the left, so you can effectively slingshot your way out of the right-hander we just went through into this corner. It's all about being gradual on the throttle, so you brake, I guess, relatively early so you can ease on the throttle through the corner, because that speed carries you all the way up this hill, and you can see, use up all of that curve on the exit. Some people will take a tight line because they think, oh, it's better, but you end up just costing yourself too much time by keeping the steering wheel too tight. We're on the back of number 2. I think this is probably to lap the guy, considering the pace difference and how quickly we caught up. There you can see I used up all of the track on exit. So in terms of lap times, I ended up getting, I think it was a 50.7. The fastest of the day was a 49.9 in a different heat. In this particular race, the fastest time, one guy managed to get 50.4, and then it was 50.7 to 50.8. So I think because it got dark, I think track temperature dropped, so the pace might have dropped a bit as well. Also, they refueled the carts for this race, so the carts would have been another 5-6 kilos heavier. Also, I think, and I know this sounds like I'm making a lot of excuses, but I'm just kind of adding things up in my head. I think some of the quickest guys who, the lap times they were getting, I think they probably weighed at about 60 kilos or 65 kilos with full race suit. I weigh at about 78. So 10 kilos, I think some people would say half a second. Probably at absolute minimum, that's 3 or 4 tenths. So I think with everything, I was probably about 7 tenths slower than the guys in Heat 2, which was the A finals actually. So I think the pace was pretty much there, which for my first time at Buckmore in these karts is not bad. I've been to Buckmore a few times before for Club 100. Managed to win a race. I think I qualified on pole in another race for BUKC. And then I've got my first Club 100 race here later this year. So I will do my best to put out a video for that when that happens. But yeah, let's just keep on riding on board. Sometimes I cut this stuff out to make it more of a highlight video, make it less long, but I thought this time it's only about 20 minutes, so it's not the longest video in the world, so it gives more chances to kind of see what I'm consistently doing in these karts. If you want to see like how I approach a corner on, you know, numerous laps. So this corner, for example, you want to get on that curve because it kind of sucks you into the left, and then that corner is all about getting the exit. And you can see how much track we use into this corner all the way up on the curb. And you don't want to let the car out through that right-hander because it means that you'd have to take a much tighter line through the left, which will lose you speed all the way on this run up to the start-finish straight. And that's the most important corner to get a good exit from, that right-hand hairpin into the left kink, because it's very easy to lose grip and end up sliding through the left, and that could just cost you time. So very important that you get the right-hander right and you don't let the cart all the way out there. And for people who have watched my previous videos, they'll know that I always say, you know, let the cart all the way out. That's one corner where you don't, because you've got to be very careful. So you'll see it again here. Again, use up all of the track, flat into this right, dab on the brakes, get it turned in, and the cart just sticks round and then into this right hand. I think I was a bit early on the apex that time round. And then here, all the way up on the curb. This time we end up getting it a bit wrong. We come out too wide. And then here, again, all of the track so that you can open up the steering as much as possible. Because if you open up the steering, it means that you've got less resistance against the cart, so you're not slowing yourself down as much. So very important to always take the line of least resistance, as we say, you know. Always try to put in minimal steering. So here, again, opening up the steering as much as possible to let the cart out, pull it back to the right, and then again open up the steering, and you're practically straight lining it out of the corner. Then once you've built up a bit of speed, you turn it more, because while you're accelerating, if you're turning while accelerating, you're not going to get that same kind of drive, that same kind of traction out of the corner. And again, like every lap, you'll see I take the same line pretty much through that right left, through the right hander at the end there. It did vary. I'm not sure what the fastest way around was. It's very difficult when you don't know what your lap times are while you're driving, or you don't have the radio in, so you know you don't have someone feeding you information, or you don't have a data log on your steering wheel. So you're kind of just experimenting with things and trying to feel, okay, what seems quicker, and then trying to go with that. And if you don't have someone around you, it becomes much more difficult. If there is a quick driver around you, you can try out the different lines and see, oh, this thing that I did gained me time relative to the guy ahead, or I'm losing time to the guy in front. Where is he gaining time on me? And then just trying to copy what the driver in front does. But so far, this third quarter of the video has been a rather lonely one. It's just been us driving. We do eventually catch up to some people. So I think at this point, I am probably... So there, you can see there's two carts in front. So we've been catching them hand over fist. So I think right now we're in P9. Because I think that's 8th and 7th in front of us. Or maybe we're in P10. And like... when I was driving, I could see, because at this point you can look to your right and you can see where other carts are, and I could see every lap I was catching them like massively. So I was just trying to get my head down, trying to close in as much as possible, as quickly as possible. And to be honest, without spoiling where we finish in this race, I think I did the absolute most I could. Like after the spin that I had, if I could get back in the car with everything that I've learned, I think I still finish in the same position. Maybe I finish a few seconds up the road. I don't think I finish any further places ahead. Maybe one, you know, if I nail the consistency completely. So yeah, this time we get a much better run through here. Again, I could have let the cart out a lot more through the left. You kind of think that you have to hold it in a lot tighter than you actually do. I think there's about 7-8 minutes remaining in this race right now. We head through the double right hand, and you can see the guys ahead are getting closer and closer in our field of vision. I think the quality of the camera is low because it is in the dark, so maybe exposure levels affecting it, but usually in Club 100 it's very clear, and those karts are a bit faster, and I think they feel a bit bumpier. These karts I wasn't a massive fan of because your seat isn't actually aligned with the steering wheel, because the seat isn't in the center of the car, it's a bit to the left, so it's very awkward with how you're sitting. And that's not me making an excuse to say like why I was bad, because it's exactly the same for everyone. It was just it was an awkward seating position. So yeah, Buckmore, if you are going to get a new fleet of karts at any point, you know, have the seat in the center so you're lined up with the steering wheel and where you want to go, because it was, yeah, it was a bit weird. If anyone has been to Buckmore and tried out their karts, let me know if you felt the same thing. Now we're into the fourth and final quarter of this video, the final 7 or 8 minutes of this, as we head into that double left-hander once again. I say it's double left-hander, it's a single left-hander, but it's almost designed to be a 2 apex corner, but it is still 1 apex. You get a late apex through there because your 2 apexes are way too close together. You can really see that we're closing in to the guys up ahead. We've been reeling them in every single lap, making really good gains as well. So let's see how many laps it takes. If we just kind of count now, so we'll see when they get to the start-finish line how long it is. And 1, and 2, and 3. So it's probably about 3 seconds behind these guys right now. I don't know, my counting skills aren't great, as in terms of getting the time right. So maybe it's a bit less than 3, but you can see that we are clearly gaining on them. And now that they're like easily visible, you can see in every corner how much time we gain. And I think the main time that we're going to gain is through that right-left chicane that's coming up, and then that effectively the final braking zone of the track. So let's just see how much we catch up to these guys now. And I think that's very clearly visible that we just gained maybe half a second. I think there's a back marker there, but still. As we come out of this corner, the gap is now, what, 1.5 seconds? I'm catching number 18 at literally the worst point possible, so I decided to give him a push and then slide up his inside. So maybe this guy's a bit heavier than me, maybe his kart's not as good as mine, because despite giving the push, we were then able to get back up his inside. So hey, maybe he's not pressing the accelerator all the way down, but I doubt that's the case. Probably maybe his slipstream could have been a thing. But we're now right on the back of this 22 car. So remember, this is the 22 car who pushed me out of the way before, and then I got past him, or I then got spun around. So this is how long it's taken me to get back to that point. So I should have been with this guy so many laps ago. Like, when I got spun around, I should have been on this guy, and then working my way up the order from there. So I get a much better run because I hold it tight through that right-hander, and as a result you can see the speed difference coming through the kink. And now I'm looking for a way through, and I look towards the inside. He tries to slam the door shut, which he does. So I say, fine, fair enough, if you're going to keep that door shut, I'll just slot in behind for now. And then I have a think, can I go around the outside? No, so I'll just get a good run, and I show myself to the outside, and then I go up the inside. So what I was doing was, I was just making sure, coming out of that right-hander, when he looks behind him to see where I am, I'm on his right, so he thinks that I'm looking for the outside, and then I just switch back over to the inside to play the old dummy on him. So just trying to get inside his head a little bit. But we get the job done, and now we can try to catch up to this guy in the red suit. And yeah, so again, I should have been here from the point that I got spun, and then working my way up the field. So yeah, it's a bit unfortunate. So apparently I lost about 6-7 seconds from the incident, and then I had to get through, you know, like 10 separate karts. So, and there was a big train of like fighting that happened, which was all in that second portion of the video that's disappeared. But that's yeah, it's unfortunate. So I'm not going to be a dead horse. It's racing. It's what happens sometimes. And I absolutely don't hold it against anyone. Sometimes you make mistakes, sometimes incidents happen, and it's, you know, the good drivers are the ones that can be aware of those incidents happening and anticipate them and avoid them. As, my God, the run we get on that number 9 car is absolutely insane. We send it up the inside. He tries to close the door, but we have absolutely none of it. So that is the number 2 car that we lapped, I think, a fair while back. Number 2 has not had a good day. I don't know if they don't have a good car or if they're just struggling for pace. But we get our apex right. Not really left with many places to go, so just have to sit behind and then up the inside. Number 2 ends up out-braking themselves, so we get the moves up fairly easily. I ended up out-braking myself as well, because I was waiting for number 2 to brake, and then I just thought, nah, he's going to kill himself. So I braked a little bit too late, and that's why I went a bit wide there. But now we've got a car in front of us. I think there's only about 3 minutes left of this race, 3-4 minutes, so I need to catch up to this guy as quickly as possible. There isn't anyone else up ahead, so I know now that that guy's my target. That's it. Once I've got past him, it's over. So I now know I don't need to take unnecessary risks. I just need to focus on that one driver ahead of me. And kind of coming into this double right-hander, we gained a lot on the braking, and he doesn't really gain on us on the exit. And then into here, I think I was a little bit late on the brakes, but you saw how much time I could gain on entry because he was going for a really late apex, which there's a very short run into the left-hand hairpin after it, so it's not really worth going for a late apex. Better just to get an early apex and have a bit more corner speed than getting the acceleration out of it. And through that left-right, I end up getting this right-hander a little bit wrong, which is why I don't really catch up. But into the final braking point again, he takes a better line than what we've been seeing from a few of the other drivers, but still we get a slightly better run. I don't know if this car is just insane. It did win the A final, so yeah, maybe that's it. But we end up going up his inside. Job done, fairly good. I think he goes up my inside here. Yep, there he does. So we get a good run. I move to the outside. I see him, and then I give him the old switcheroo and send him. And that's it. That's me up a position. This is me up into P6, which is where I eventually finished, if I'm not mistaken. I finished 15 seconds off the lead, which, you know, considering the incident, I'm more than happy with. And I think without the incident, I think I would have been battling for the win. So it is what it is. But either way, I got to have a lot of fun because the start of the race was me working my way through the order up into, I think it was 13th before I had the spin, and then I got to do it all over again. So I got the maximum value for my buck, I guess. And at the end of the day, that's why you go racing. This isn't my serious championship to try to like compete in the championship for positions. This is, I want to have fun with some decent drivers, and I got to do that. So that's what it's about. And we got to have loads of overtakes, loads of battling, and this is the final lap of the race. So I hope this video has been enjoyable to everyone and informative as well to some extent. I will be trying to do more Club 73 rounds in the future. I can't do the next round, but yeah, also have a round happening in the not too distant future. From the time of releasing this video or me voice recording it, it's at Rye House in a week and a bit's time, so that's Club 100, and I tend to upload those videos a few days after the event. So drop a like and subscribe to the channel, and you know, watch any of the other videos as well. But there's going to be a lot more karting videos coming in the near future, so do stay tuned for that. And if there are any questions about how you can get involved in Club 73 or any other karting championships, or just karting tips in general, if you want, feel free to drop a comment below. So yeah, thank you everyone for tuning in, and I'll see you all next time. Assalamu alaikum.